folks, welcome back. Thank you for watching. Please do hit subscribe if you haven't done so yet. It really does help when you do that. So today folks, I wanted to start this video with an apology, and a genuine one at that, because the pedal I've got today I was sent to check out by Verlie at PastFx, and I said to her that I was going to make a demo video of it. And that was getting on for nearly 2 years ago now. So I wanted to start with a huge apology to Verlie for the ridiculous amount of time it's taken for me to sit down and make some noise with this thing on camera. Life gets in the way sometimes, but that's no excuse for the chronic amount of time it's been between me receiving this pedal and making this video. So very, very sorry for the huge delay. Anyway, in recent years, PastFx have become masters of taking vintage effects and sort of rebirthing them in pedal board friendly sized enclosures and with modern day functionality and reliability. And the pedal I've finally got for you today is no exception to that, because this here is the Hot for Flanger, and there's a couple of big clues as to what this pedal is shooting after in the name alone. And I should also say this is a prototype of this pedal, again showing how long I've sat on this thing, and the production units have a couple of features that this prototype doesn't have, so I'll tell you what those are in a minute. But as the name and the black-grey colour scheme suggests, this is going after the huge mains-powered 1970s MXR M117 Flanger, loved by many people over the years, but especially a certain Mr. Eddie Van Halen. Now, the 4 knobs on this pedal are the exact controls you get on the originals. So speed is how quickly the pedal oscillates, width is how far the flange goes either side of the centre point, the manual control kind of sets the centre point of the flange, and it kind of has the effect of being like a rudimentary tone control to a point. As you turn it up, it gets a bit thicker and more gloopy. As you turn it down, it's a bit brighter and more metallic, but it kind of sets the centre point. And regeneration controls how much of the signal comes from the output back into the input. So it's the feedback loop that gives flanges its sort of trademark watery sound. So those are the exact controls on the original. But even on this prototype, there's a couple of extra switches in the middle here that are worth their weight in gold. Firstly, you get a blend knob, and as the name suggests, as you turn it down, your dry signal is brought back into what comes out of the output. So you can set this pedal really extreme and then dial it way back to kind of sit behind your core guitar sound so it doesn't really get in the way. So you can really control how much of the effect is blended into the end result going into your amplifier. But you also get this switch at the top here marked Waldo. Now, Verlie said to me on email, this isn't intended to be an EVH switch, even though the word Waldo is fairly tied to Eddie. What this does, electronically speaking, is it controls the capacitance of the clock. No idea what that really means, but the end real world result is when you put the switch down, this pedal has a little bit more kind of upper mid-range to it, which especially when going into a dirty amp, this gives you a little bit more kind of focus and cut. So that's really nice to have. It's fairly subtle, but it does give you 2 distinct voices. Now on the production units, the 2 controls that are missing from this, firstly there's a switch underneath the regen knob, and that switches between positive and negative feedback. So again, 2 different voices, things like the ADA flanger have that kind of like, or even an odd order harmonics. I'm guessing it's something similar to that. But you also, most importantly, get a level control, because a lot of vintage modulation pedals do have the habit of dropping your guitar sound below unity, or at least perceived unity, when you kick the effect in. This one's fairly close to unity, I think, maybe a smidge below, but the level knob of course allows you to compensate for that, and it even boosts the effect into your amp. So this pedal doesn't have that, but the ones you can buy do. So it's a very, very functional modern day recreation of the M117. So what I'm going to do today, folks, is firstly use some single coils and put this into an amp that's set clean, so you can really hear everything that this pedal is doing. But at the end, use some humbuckers into a fairly cranked Marshall amp, EVH style, to show you how it interfaces with a gain stage. So it's really, really functional. It's great being able to dial it into a lot of different situations with the extra controls. It really is a modern day friendly recreation of that old classic effect. So without further ado, folks, finally, here we go. are, folks. Now, please do comment underneath and let me know what you thought of the Hot for Flanger today. I love hearing all of your thoughts and opinions down in the comments section. So this really does sound like an old MXR M117, doesn't it? The sort of inherent tone and sweep of the flange is very, very close to what I remember of my vintage original. The Waldo switch does give you a sort of more bitey upper mid-range, which at the end, going into the cranked amp, really helped to kind of cut through and give it a bit more of that kind of EVH type thing. The blend control, it just allows you to really control how overbearing or not this pedal is. And of course, on the production units, the level control will allow you to boost as well with the additional regeneration control too. So again, hugely impressive from PastFx. They have a real knack of just taking those vintage circuits and just revitalizing them for the modern day. So huge props to Verlie, because she's doing amazing work over in Australia. But again, folks, those are just my thoughts. I love hearing yours, so please do comment underneath, and yeah, please share your opinions below. So anyway, folks, thank you ever so much for watching. I hope this video was interesting and useful for you in some way. Please do carry on subscribing. I know I always say it, but it makes a big difference when you hit that subscribe button. And I will see you very soon. Bye-bye.